The process of formation of sperms is called spermatogenesis. Hi dear students, welcome to Kavitha's NEET classes. We will have a series of lectures on the topic gametogenesis. The series of lectures will include spermatogenesis, that is the process of spermatogenesis, and also the hormonal control of spermatogenesis, followed by oogenesis, the hormonal control of oogenesis, and also the difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. And we shall also discuss in one lecture the previous year questions which have appeared in the earlier NEET examinations, so that you will get a clear picture as to what kind of questions you can expect from this topic, gametogenesis. So as part of series of this, first lecture will be on spermatogenesis, and we shall start discussing this now. What is spermatogenesis? The process of formation of sperms is called as spermatogenesis, isn't it? It's so simple. So what about gametogenesis? That is the process of formation of the gametes, that is the ovum and the sperm, by the gonads, that is the ovary and the sperm respectively, is called as gametogenesis. I will explain to you in simple terms. So what are the male and the female gonads? The female gonad is the ovary, that is the ovary produces the female gamete, which is the ovum, or we can also call it as egg, isn't it? What are gonads? Gonads are the reproductive organs which produce the gametes. Okay, so in females the gonad is ovary, and it is the ovary which produces the female gamete, which is the ovum. Right. Next, what is the male gamete and the male gonad? The male gonad is the testis. It is the testis which is the reproductive organ which produces the gamete in males. So what is the gamete here? It is the sperm. Right. It is the testis which produces the male gamete, sperm, in males. So this process by which the testis produces the sperm and the process by which the ovary produces the ovum, in simple terms it is called as gametogenesis. That is the production of the ovum and the sperm by the respective gonads in females and males is called as gametogenesis. Or you can even say the process of formation of the male and the female gamete by their respective gonads is called as gametogenesis. So in males, that is when the testis produces the sperm, we call it as spermatogenesis, and in females when the ovary produces the ovum, we call it as oogenesis. So under gametogenesis we have spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Okay, so under gametogenesis we have spermatogenesis, which is the process by which the sperm is produced by the testis, and we have oogenesis, which is the process by which the ovum is produced by the ovary in females. This process is called as gametogenesis. Got it? So now you have a clear idea of what are gametes, what are gonads, and what are the gametes and what are the gonads in males and females. Now we shall discuss the process of spermatogenesis, that is how the sperms are produced within the testis. Here you can see this is the testis. Okay, the testis in males, within which we have tube-like structures called as seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules. It is in this seminiferous tubules that the sperms are produced. So within the testis we have the seminiferous tubules, and this is a cross section of how the seminiferous tubule looks like. Okay, so this is the cross section of the seminiferous tubule. The inner lining of the seminiferous tubule is composed of germinal epithelium. The inner lining of the seminiferous tubule has germinal epithelium, which consists of primary germ cells and Sertoli cells. It consists of Sertoli cells and primary germ cell or the primordial cell. Okay, primary germ cell or the primordial germ cell. So this is the primordial germ cell which undergoes repeated divisions to produce the sperms, whereas the Sertoli cell is called as nurse cells. So why is it called as nurse cells? I will be explaining that shortly. Just understand that the inner lining of the seminiferous tubule is composed of epithelium which has two kinds of cell. One is the Sertoli cell, which is a somatic cell, and the other one is a germ cell. What is the difference between a germ cell and a somatic cell? The somatic cells will have two sets of chromosome, whereas the germ cell differentiates and finally produces the gamete, which is the sperm, which has a single set of chromosome. Okay, so this is Sertoli cell, which is a somatic cell, and this is the primordial germ cell which ultimately produces the sperm. Okay, so Sertoli cells are called as nurse cells also. So out of these two cells, Sertoli cell and primordial germ cell, it is a germ cell which produces the sperm. You can see here, this is the Sertoli cell. Okay, Sertoli cell, it provides nourishment to the germ cells during the process of division. That is why it is also called as nurse cells. So now I will tell you how exactly the primordial germ cell or the primary germ cell undergoes repeated divisions to produce the sperm ultimately. So what happens is, we have the primordial germ cell which undergoes multiple mitotic divisions to produce spermatogonium. Okay, the primordial germ cell or the primary germ cell undergoes repeated mitotic divisions to produce two kinds of cell. One is the spermatogonium type A. Okay, spermatogonium type A, and the other one is the spermatogonium type B. Okay, the primordial germ cell undergoes repeated mitotic divisions to produce two kinds of spermatogonium. One is the spermatogonium type A, which again further divides to produce more spermatogonium. Okay, whereas it is a type B which leads to the production of the sperms. Okay, so you understood the difference between spermatogonium type A and spermatogonium type B. The spermatogonium type A undergoes further divisions to produce more spermatogonium, whereas the spermatogonium type B, which undergo further, it is the precursor for the production of the sperms. It is a precursor to the sperms. The synthesis of the sperms occur inside the seminiferous tubules, which are coiled structures present inside the testis. So the testis is the male gonad. Within that we have coiled structures called as seminiferous tubules, and this is a cross section of the seminiferous tubule. I will explain it using another picture. Here you can see, this is a cross section of the seminiferous tubule. Here you can see the epithelium, the primordial epithelium, which consists of two kinds of cell. One is the Sertoli cell, which is also called as the nurse cell. It is a somatic cell, whereas the other one is the primordial germ cell. The primordial or the primary germ cell undergoes multiple mitotic divisions to produce the spermatogonium. Few among these spermatogonium are ultimately going to transform into sperms, whereas rest of them again undergo multiple divisions to form more spermatogonium. So I told you about type A and type B, isn't it? So type B spermatogonium are the precursors for the sperms. So here you can see, this is the Sertoli cell and this is the spermatogonium. So after the formation of the spermatogonium, it derives nutrition from the Sertoli cells to form the primary spermatocyte. Okay, so this is the primary spermatocyte. The primary spermatocyte now enters into meiotic division. to be precise, meiosis 1. So here the primary spermatocyte is diploid in nature, that is it has two set of chromosome or it has 46 chromosome. After first meiosis or the first meiotic division, meiosis is also called as reductional division, isn't it? One primary spermatocyte produces two secondary spermatocytes, each one having a single set of chromosome. So the secondary spermatocyte is haploid in nature, that is it has only a single set of chromosome or it has 23 chromosomes each. So from one primary spermatocyte we get two secondary spermatocytes each having 23 chromosomes. Further, the secondary spermatocyte enters into meiosis 2 to produce 4 spermatids, each of which are again haploid in nature, that is again they also have 23 chromosomes only. So from the spermatogonium we get the primary spermatocyte. Primary spermatocyte enters into meiosis 1 to give secondary spermatocyte. Secondary spermatocyte enters into meiosis 2 to give 4 spermatids. So this is a very important question in NEET. Many a times they will ask, one spermatogonium gives rise to how many sperms or gives rise to how many spermatozoa. So one spermatogonium gives rise to 4 spermatozoa. So please keep this in mind. So the spermatid are finally transformed into spermatozoa by the process called as spermiogenesis. The transformation of the spermatid into spermatozoa, which is later called as sperms, is called as spermiogenesis. The transformation of the spermatids to spermatozoa is called as spermiogenesis. So after spermiogenesis, the heads of the sperm are engulfed into the Sertoli cells and they are finally released after maturation out of the tubule, out of the seminiferous tubule. That process is called as spermiation. Okay, so please do not get confused between spermiogenesis and spermiation. The transformation of the spermatid into spermatozoa is called as spermiogenesis. After spermiogenesis, the heads of the sperm are engulfed into the Sertoli cells and finally they are released from the seminiferous tubules. This process is called as spermiation. Okay, so ultimately one spermatogonium leads to production of 4 sperms. I hope you understood. You can check the picture thoroughly. This is the primary spermatocyte, this is the secondary spermatocyte, and here you can see how the spermatids are, and finally the sperm heads are. The sperm heads become embedded in the Sertoli cells. Here you can see the sperm heads are getting embedded into the Sertoli cells and they are finally released from the tubule. And that process is called as spermiation. They are finally become mature and they are released from the seminiferous tubule as sperms. Okay, so this entire process is called as spermatogenesis. So here in this picture you can see the different phases of spermatogenesis. This is the spermatogonia. Okay, the spermatogonia undergoes repeated mitotic divisions to form the primary spermatocyte. So the spermatogonia divides into spermatogonia type A and type B. The type A further divide to produce more spermatogonia. Okay, whereas the type B become primary spermatocyte. I hope you understood, isn't it? So the spermatogonia undergoes repeated divisions to form two kinds of cells, which is type A and type B. Type A, which goes to produce more such similar spermatogonia, whereas type B gets converted to a primary spermatocyte. So the primary spermatocyte undergoes meiosis to produce a secondary spermatocyte. So this phase wherein the spermatogonia gets converted to primary spermatocyte through mitotic division is called as multiplication phase. So until here it is the multiplication phase wherein the spermatogonia undergoes multiple divisions to form the primary spermatocyte. Until here we call it as multiplication phase. Next coming, the primary spermatocyte undergoes meiosis 1 to produce 2 secondary spermatocytes. Okay. This secondary spermatocyte again undergoes meiosis 2 to produce 4 spermatids. Okay. So this phase, that is the primary spermatocyte dividing to meiosis, dividing by meiosis to form the secondary spermatocyte, and again the secondary spermatocyte going through meiosis 2. This entire phase is called as growth phase. Then the spermatids, the 4 spermatids undergo spermiogenesis, that is the transformation of the spermatid to spermatozoa. This process of transformation of the spermatid to spermatozoa is called as spermiogenesis. Later these spermatozoa, that is after spermiogenesis, the heads of the sperm are engulfed inside the Sertoli cells and they are finally released from the seminiferous tubules. That process is called as spermiation. Okay, so this phase, that is from the spermatid to the stage of spermatozoa, is called as maturation phase. So it will be better if you can remember these phases also, that is the multiplication phase, the growth phase and the maturation phase. Again here you can also remember the nature of the cells. Here it is diploid in nature, that is here spermatogonia have 46 chromosome, and even here the primary spermatocyte also has 46 chromosome. But after meiosis 1, each of the secondary spermatocyte has 23 chromosome each, that is they are haploid in nature, that is the diploid primary spermatocyte enters into meiosis 1 giving rise to 2 haploid secondary spermatocyte. Then finally after this, even the spermatids, spermatozoa, sperms, all of them are haploid in nature, that is they have only a single set of chromosome which is 23 chromosomes. Now let us discuss the significance of, spermatogenesis. Significance of spermatogenesis. During spermatogenesis, one spermatogonium produces 4 sperms. That is true, isn't it? I have already explained this. The sperms have half the number of chromosomes. Yes, the spermatogonium is diploid in nature. Even the primary spermatogonium is also diploid in nature. However, from the stage of secondary spermatogonium, the cells become haploid in nature, that is they have a single set of chromosomes now onwards. So the sperms have half the number of chromosomes. After fertilization, the diploid chromosome number is restored in the zygote. So how does the formation of the zygote happen? One sperm fuses with one sperm, fertilizes an ovum. This is the sperm. Okay, this is the ovum. So a sperm which is haploid in nature, which has a single set of chromosome, fertilizes an ovum which is again haploid in nature, and the resulting zygote will be having diploid nature, that is the zygote will have 2 sets of chromosome which is 2n, right? So that is why the gamete cells or the gametes have single set of chromosome only. Okay, so after fertilization, the diploid chromosome number is restored in the zygote. It means the chromosome number of the species. Imagine if this did not happen and the sperm had 2 set of chromosome and even the ovum had 2 set of chromosome, then the resultant zygote will have 4 set of chromosome. That is not possible, isn't it? Because human species are diploid in nature. So as a result of that only, the cell undergoes mitotic division and meiotic division to produce the gametes, which are the sperm and the ovum, which have only 1 set of chromosome. Okay, so it maintains the chromosome number of the species. Correct? So the sperms have half the number of chromosomes and then after fertilization the diploid chromosome number is restored. In the zygote it maintains the chromosome number of the species. One more is during meiosis 1 crossing over takes place, which brings about variation. So variation is very, very important and significant for evolution, isn't it? So it is during this process of meiosis 1 that crossing over of the sister chromatids happen, leading to variation. So these are all the significant points of spermatogenesis. Now we shall discuss the difference between spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis. Okay, so what is the difference between spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis? Spermatogenesis is the process of formation of the haploid spermatozoa from the undifferentiated primordial germ cell of the testis. So I told you this is where it begins. The primordial germ cell differentiates, it divides, it undergoes mitotic divisions, giving rise to the primary primary cell, and then the secondary one, and then the spermatids, finally leading to the spermatozoa, and then which finally becomes the sperms, isn't it? So it is the process of formation of the haploid spermatozoa, whereas on the other hand, spermiogenesis is the process of transformation of the spermatids into the spermatozoa. The process of transformation of the spermatids into spermatozoa is called as spermiogenesis. Next, coming here, the spermatogenesis involves multiplication phase, growth phase, maturation phase and differentiation phase. So I even showed you what are the different phases, that is the multiplication phase, growth phase and the maturation phase which happens during spermatogenesis, whereas here there is only one stage, that is the differentiation phase, and therefore this spermiogenesis is a part of spermatogenesis. So spermiogenesis is the last stage of spermatogenesis, right? Next is a spermatogonium produces 4 spermatozoa. So I told you a single spermatogonium produces 4 spermatozoa or 4 sperms, whereas here you can see that one spermatid develops into one spermatozoon only. Okay, the process of transformation of the spermatid into the spermatozoa is called as spermiogenesis. So one spermatid transforms into one spermatozoa only. Okay, so this is the major differences between the spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis. I hope you understood the spermatogenesis topic thoroughly and you will be able to answer any question which arises from this topic. We shall also in our future lectures discuss about the hormonal control of spermatogenesis, the structure of the sperm, and we shall also discuss few important questions which have been asked in the previous years. So I hope my lectures are really helping you a lot. If you have any queries or if you have any suggestions, you can send it in the comment section, and you can also follow me on all the social media handles. Until I meet you in the next lecture, take care, bye, have a good day.